Hi, thanks for taking a look at my stats, tech stack, and system that I use in building membership sites. In this part of my portfolio, I'm going to share with you a PDF that I often use when I'm live, doing a call, a sales call or a discovery call with my clients, where I give a little bit of the history about how I actually build membership sites. Now, I'm going to start with kind of the shameless part first and talk about the stats. I've been building websites and membership platforms for 25 plus years. I've built over 450 membership platforms. Back in the day, in the early 2000s, we didn't have WordPress, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have all of these things. So we had to build this from the ground up. And when I say we, I have my two adult children with me working in the business, my 30-year-old son and my 28-year-old daughter. Matter of fact, they're in the studio here with me today. They started actually behind the camera way back in the day, doing video for my clients and different things like that. And now they work actively with me in the business, which is a joy of my life to be running a family business where we get to work together. And we've been doing this as a family for 25 plus years, and we had to start with building custom code, over 4.5 million lines of code, a custom CMS, a custom CRM, a custom LMS, a custom billing system, custom gamification system, custom autoresponder, and on and on. And then roughly around 2015, my team pulled me kind of kicking and screaming out of the custom development world into the WordPress ecosystem, mainly because in 2015 to 2020, WordPress had really matured to become what I needed, which was an enterprise level platform. I'm one of the few developers on Upwork that develop membership platforms at scale. And by at scale, I mean for 100,000 plus members, tens of thousands of active members daily, millions of followers on social media. You need an enterprise level platform to accomplish that level of scale. Now, I do work with startups, people who are just getting started. I do work with level ups, people who are transitioning out of, say, a platform that doesn't work for them, or they're at a growth plateau and they need to go to the next level. And then, of course, I work with level ups, the enterprise level platforms, and it's a lot of fun doing that. And I call the people that I work with tribes, right? You are a tribe leader if you're watching this video, or you're working with or for a tribe leader. With membership platforms, typically there's a persona or a personality. Now, sometimes it's an organization, but the organization in and of itself is the tribe leader. It's the person or organization that's communicating the message, drawing members into the platform to either socialize, learn, connect through two-sided marketplaces, whether that's job boards or mentor marketplaces, different things like that, or they're doing gamification, socialization, coaching, mentoring, training. And we really focus not just on the socialization part, but on the activation, transformation, and mobilization of your members around the content, community, and commerce. Inside the PDF, you're going to see exactly the tech stack that I typically lean towards when building in the WordPress ecosystem. We typically host on AWS through a custom wraparound kind of cloud company called Rapid.Cloud. They are a super fast host that allows you to have a sub-second and 1 second load times for high demand, high traffic membership sites that are really hammering the database. Now, I may be talking a little bit of jargon here for you, but when you're building membership sites, you're constantly hitting the database with content access, content restriction, purchase, delivering custom content, user-generated content, all of those kind of things. So you have to have a high-performance host. So we have a high-performance host over on AWS and Rapid.Cloud, or we have people hosting on DigitalOcean, the second largest host in the world, with Cloudways as a real easy-to-use interface. And then, of course, we use WordPress multi-site, and any number of the page builders. We lean towards Gutenberg or Elementor, but we use Divi and Beaver Builder and all the different ones out there as well. But typically we'll either use Gutenberg or Elementor. We use WordFence for security, Smush for compressing the site, Yoast typically for SEO and different other SEO tools. And then we work with any and all of the CRMs on the market. We work from Salesforce, probably at the top end, to HubSpot, to Infusionsoft, to ActiveCampaign, to Go High Level, to ClickFunnels, to MailChimp, to Constant Contact, to Groundhog.io, to our own custom Gamplify CRM, and everyone in between. And then we typically use either Memberium or WP Fusion to connect that CRM to your membership platform and actually drive the content access and content restriction. Why is that important? We don't typically use a MemberPress or a Paid Membership Pro or one of the other membership plugins simply because it adds another layer of complexity and another layer of server and processor or demand on your website. So we typically just use WP Fusion, connect, say, to HubSpot or Salesforce, set the content access, content restriction tags there, sync it back automatically with WP Fusion, and then that drives the access. And then typically inside of our plugin suite, we use BuddyBoss for the social communities. That's groups, forums, social communities, walls, DMs, friending, following, profiles, just all the things, member directories and whatnot. We typically use LearnDash or Lifter LMS. We also have our own LMS in our Gamplify suite. We then typically use Crocoblock's Jet Engine to really do custom content, custom curation, taxonomies, resource directories, and really creating a phenomenal way to actually interact with your content. We use Gravity Forms from time to time, often use WooCommerce and WooCommerce subscriptions for the billing, and then we connect with any off-platform services, whether it's AI tools, your social media platforms, third-party APIs, and then at the center and heart of it is what we call our Platform Operations Dashboard, where we bring all of that data together, where you have a heads-up KPI, key performance indicator, and metrics dashboard that lets you know your churn rates, your active users, your canceled users, your engagement metrics, your most downloadable resource, the most accessed course, all your learning data, all your gamification data, all of your coaching data, all of that in one place where you can really manage your membership hub. So you'll see me share a lot about our platform there. And then as you get further down into that PDF, you're gonna see I work a lot with story. And this ties in with our gamification. Two things that we do very uniquely that other membership platform developers do not do is gamification and themification. Now let me start with gamification. Many of you have probably heard of gamification. It's the concept of using game thinking and game dynamics in non-game contexts to create engagement with your members. Matter of fact, I like to use GAME as an acronym. Get attention, motivate engagement, right? The games get people's attention. You're running challenges, you're running quests, you're putting points, levels, badges, streaks, leaderboards out there, and that gets people's attention. It draws them in, and then it motivates long-term engagement, especially if we use friendly competition and other elements that really draw people in. We built our own gamification suite inside the WordPress ecosystem called Gamplify. Now, we haven't listed it on WordPress.org yet. We've been rolling this out to our enterprise level clients and other clients, and soon it'll be out there as a publicly accessible plugin. We're just coming out of our beta phase and about ready to roll into our full live launch. Why did we create Gamplify? Well, first off, I've been building gamification since 2008. I was one of the very early adopters in that arena because I served an industry that already had points, levels, badges, achievements, and ranks. And so adding gamification right on top of that industry made sense. And then in 2009, 2010, 11, and 12, when gamification really became the rage across all of the internet, we were already there building a lot of gamification. And then when I moved into the WordPress ecosystem in 2015, there were typically only two gamification solutions out there, GamiPress and BadgeOS. Now, MyCred's over there as well, and LearnDash and some of the other ones have different point systems in them. But the challenge with using GamiPress and BadgeOS is they are very heavy, database-driven plugins that really slow down your site. No matter even if you use a high performance host, they really slow it down. And let me tell you, I know this by fact, right? We had a lot of our enterprise level clients install those two plugins and it just crashed their site. No matter whether we were on Rapid and AWS or whether we were on Cloudways and DigitalOcean, there was just no amount of hardware and optimization we could throw at it. So that was the first major pain point in creating our gamification software from where it used to exist in our custom software to now in the WordPress ecosystem. And the second one was that none of the gamification plugins had the full suite of tools that I use when I'm actually helping my membership site owners get deep engagement. We have leaderboards, individual leaderboards, group leaderboards, scorecards, checklists, goals, action steps, streaks, challenges, just on and on, just tons and tons and tons of things that we have built into this that then build into deep engagement. So everything you could possibly imagine that you need inside of a gamification suite we have. We have our own custom events, we have our own custom LMS, we have our own custom teams, which allows for bulk enrollment or student management by parents, where one person signs up and then you buy seats or credits or access points. And we use this across large corporations and on student-teacher elements where you have a parent needing to manage multiple students. We have a ton of different elements inside of our Gamplify suite that all lead to engagement. that all lead to really making sure that your members are engaging around your content, community, and commerce. Then most recently, we rolled out themification. I've got 4 or 5 clients that have really gone full in on themification. And this ties into part of what you're seeing inside the PDF, where I talk about storytelling. A big part of what I do when working with membership site owners is I go through the discovery process and I'm asking you questions. Who are you? What are you selling? What are you offering? What are you coaching? What are you training? What are you teaching? What are you trying to get activation, transformation, or mobilization around? Who's your avatar? Who's your ideal customer? What are their needs? What are their demands? What are they looking for? How are you currently servicing them? How can we service them better? And I start getting a full 360 picture of your business model and your member/avatar user journey. And then we start designing gamification towards that. But the first step of gamification is what we call epic meaning and calling. That's the story that you're telling your members that make them want to join your website, pay the monthly or yearly or quarterly membership, and dive deep into the content. And we turn that story into what we call epic meaning and calling. It's the motivational statement that says, I've got to be part of this. And you're going to see in my slide deck that we talk a lot about storytelling. So storytelling is a big part of what I do with my clients, especially my scale up and enterprise level up clients, where I spend time with using StoryBrand and other different models to really elicit that story from you, build that into the UX, UI, and marketing material, and actually build it into the gamification, and then ultimately into themification. What themification is actually embedding and creating binge-worthy content in your learning and or coaching material that make people want to lean in. And we'll put some examples here inside of this particular part of my portfolio where, for example, there's Tahir with MSP Camp, who already had a campy kind of feel for his website, where he had tents and woods and all these types of things. So he teaches what's called managed service providers to do marketing for their geographically centered business. And when he started as a marketing professional, he felt naked and afraid. So he shot all these videos in front of a green screen. He starts off the first video with his shirt off, shivering, and a voice from heaven speaks to him. And then his partner Steven and him, they're shrinking each other and expanding each other. They're dressing up like Yetis. You choose an avatar. The member chooses an avatar. They follow a map instead of going through a normal LearnDash course. And they're seeing all this fun, binge-worthy content. I've got Atomic Anesthesia, who's doing just some great job. I've got Wealth Expedition that's doing a great job with these different types of themification elements that not only create engagement because there's a epic meaning and calling, but the content itself is created and produced in such a way that people want to lean into it and engage with it. So we are really into creating deep engagement and deep results with your members. And so as you go through and you look at my system, these are all the systems, Gamplify and themification and our tech stack and all of that. I really appreciate you taking a deeper look at that, and you'll see my stats out there. I'm ranked in the top 1 to 3 in membership sites, in gamification, in BuddyBoss, in LearnDash, in all of the key areas that are important to me and how I serve you, the client. So dig into this part of my portfolio a little bit more. Take a look at the testimonies in my portfolio as well as case studies. And I really look forward to getting on a discovery call with you and really unpacking your story, right? Finding out how you're serving your members and how I can help you serve them better. So I look forward to speaking with you soon.